I have a lot to say on AI. A lot. There is a lot to be said. There is so much to talk about and, of course, think about. That's what we do here. Lots of thinking and wondering and sharing, along with all of the loving and film. Amy here. Welcome back. What took you so long? I've been looking for you for 1 or 2 days. Do you recognize that quote? No, seriously. Although I am no Ajay Bakshi. Fir bhi dil hai Hindustani is everywhere I look these days. I mean, in a way, as Bollywood basically predicted a lot of what we're seeing today. With a lot like AI. It's a lot like AI propaganda. Media can twist a story, frame an innocent person as dangerous, and shape what the public believes. In the movie, everything feels loud and visible. Anchors on TV, politicians on camera, very obvious bad guys. So you can kind of see the manipulator, so to speak. Today, persuasion has become more like a quiet engine running in the background. Instead of one channel screaming a narrative, you've got AI-generated content that feels human and is carefully tuned to be super persuasive. Algorithms boosting emotionally charged posts. And massive troll networks and state-sponsored accounts quietly pushing the same talking points across many platforms. If this film shows, hey, TV news can be weaponized, then the Zurich Reddit scandal feels like the lab version of, hey, we can slip AI agents inside real conversations and try to change people's minds without them ever knowing it. Oh, did I say that? Yes, you heard that right, Yar. No joke, AI agents inside real conversations, trying to change people's minds without them even knowing it. The Zurich study, Reddit scandal. When researchers used fake accounts and made up personal backstories, even fabricated trauma and fabricated beliefs, all to see how well AI-written comments can shift opinions on a live forum. It did not go well, which makes one wonder. We like to wonder here. Wonderland, by every definition of the word, here it makes one wonder what is actually happening, already happening, if it is really that easy. The study was shut down. So that conversation that simple researchers wanted to wonder about, think about, explore, learn about, talk about openly, is now silenced. Technically, right? Not a good indication. What's so bad about talking about it? What is so dangerous about discussing it? If it's a nothing, never happened and never gonna happen non-issue, what is going on? What has gone on? What could go on? Uh-oh. Questions are not allowed, right? Curiosity killed the science experiment instead of the cat, it seems. Well, you know me. Now they have my interest. Even more. I'm listening. Are you? What do you hear in this situation? What is the silenced saying? What do you see? And what none of us are allowed to see here with these topics. Let's make our own film now. Let's update the plot here. Ooh, we'd like to do this. Okay, the characters, all right? A team of researchers from the University of Zurich decides they want to test if AI can actually change people's minds in real online debates. Yes, let's go. Okay, they pick a Reddit thread, subreddit, change my view. This subreddit, where folks post views they're open to flipping, like, oh, I think this is wrong, convince me otherwise, and real people jump in with arguments without telling anyone. Not the mods, not Reddit, not the users. These researchers spin up dozens of fake accounts powered by, you guessed it, large language models. Think early versions of ChatGPT or whatever's hot now. Here's where it gets wild. The bots don't just spit generic replies. Oh no. They scrape. Yeah. They scrape the original poster's history. Yeah. To guess stuff like age, gender, ethnicity, location, even political leanings. Stuff that's public on Reddit, maybe, but super personal. Then they craft hyper-tailored responses, complete with fake backstories to sound authentic. One bot pretends to be, let's just say, trauma survivor, a certain type of trauma survivor, sharing personal trauma to sway a debate on consent laws. Yeah, they had a bot pretend that. Another bot they have act like a black man arguing against Black Lives Matters. Counselors, experts, everyday folks. They built a whole cast of personas, completely fake, tailored to look real and detailed for various specific reasons, for specific topics. Over months, these bots drop over 1,700 comments, engaging hundreds of real users in the back and forths. The goal? Measure persuasion. Turns out, the AI bots were 6 times more effective at getting people to award that symbol of "you changed my view" on the subreddit. 6 times more effective at changing real people's minds than actual humans. Okay. Researchers even had a draft paper bragging about it, calling it a breakthrough for understanding AI's power in the wild. Yeah, that's power. But then, boom, April 26th, and this is now in 2025, April 26th, yeah. The mods of this subreddit, the CMV subreddit, they get tipped off because, I don't know, researchers shared their draft paper somewhere and accounts that they listed anonymously were there or something. So the mods, they drop a mega post exposing it all. Quote, "Unauthorized experiment, AI bots, no disclosure, violates our rules on undisclosed AI and no bots." Well, then Reddit erupts, as it does, literally by design. Users feel violated, like lab rats, in their own hangout. Mods file ethics complaints, with Zurich Uni demanding no publication, demanding apologies and punishment. Zurich's ethics committee admits they greenlit it, but warns they ignored advice. To inform participants better? Yeah, maybe. Hello. Principal investigator gets a formal slap on the wrist, and Uni promises tougher reviews. Reddit's chief legal officer, Ben Lee, jumps in on the thread. Quote, "Deeply wrong on moral and legal levels, violates our rules, human rights norms. We've banned the accounts and are sending legal demands." And of course, the academics pile on, as they tend to do. Oxford's Carissa Viles calls it, quote, "manipulation and deceit on non-consenting people," questioning why they couldn't just recruit volunteers. Users rage, because that's what these users do, but they have reason here. They rage about the fake trauma stories. Yeah, that was really dark and low. They feel exploitative, especially on sensitive topics, as I was sensitively trying to allude to. The researchers defended vaguely, quote, "filling a knowledge gap on AI risks, approved ethically, but they go quiet when they are pressed." So yeah, in the end, it's a perfect storm. Proves, proves AI can persuade sneakily and at large and effective scale. But yeah, they proved it, but it blows up because no one has permission. Yikes. Kind of like if the TV execs in Fir Bhi Dil Hai Hindustani got cut mid-broadcast. Only way more personal and hidden. Sounds like it was a scandal, all right. Cue the opinions. Cue the victims. Cue the rage. And yes, people should not be lab rats without consent. I think that goes without saying. Weird, violating, wrong, messed up. But yeah, am I the only one who is starting to notice that the focus switched onto this scandal, which is very, very warranted, as I said, and also important to focus on and talk about, but more importantly, successfully switched off a much bigger and more relevant and more disturbing possible scandal here? Like, bro, that was fast. The switch up. Distracted, upset, rage, triggered, baited from something we probably shouldn't miss. That's not good. It's that easy. It's that easy with us. Let's rewind the tape, shall we? Let's look at the footage from the secret camera in the purse at what was ultimately stopped in its tracks, silenced, targeted, like a giant Rhea. What was never published, what was discovered and not shared with all of us, hidden. Shh. What's really going on here? Behind the scenes? Out of sight? Could it go deeper? Could it spread? Bigger? Comment to comment? Post to post? Subgroup to subgroup? Platform to platform? Platform to media, to TV, to commentators, to group chats, to family functions, retold, reshared, retold, requoted, re-referenced, referenced again. We think oftentimes when we talk about this stuff, we think we're referencing real people, real opinions, real perspectives, real numbers, real debates, real talking points, real groups and groups of, quote, like so-called people convincing us, persuading us, telling us what everyone is saying, what everyone knows to be true, what everyone supposedly knows to be factual, intensely right, glaringly obvious, true. Social media platforms, vast, endless cities, millions of voices pouring through every street, arguing, laughing, debating late into the night. For years, that noise sounded human. But now, it appears something else has moved in. At first, you didn't notice. These new voices joke, reason, empathize. They sound real, but they're not. They're AIs trained on everything we've ever posted. They learned from us, then came back to talk to us like us. And here's the twist. News outlets start quoting them, you know? Have you noticed that? It's here's what people are saying, they say. They declare, but those people they're quoting, they might not exist. Those words they're quoting that they say someone said with an avatar might be synthetic words, completely fake by a machine, and we talk about it in the news like it's a person or people. The loop tightens. The fake becomes the source. The source becomes somehow told as the truth. It's labeled as a source or a truth. AI teaching AI how to sound more human until the line disappears altogether. A handful of operators hidden behind screens can now launch armies of convincing digital personalities. They don't need to spread lies directly. They reshape the mood. They bend emotion. They shift entire communities without ever showing their face. Meanwhile, the real internet, our internet, fills with slop, right? Everyone's talking about it. You can tell the same empty phrases recycled 1,000 times. Real voices drown beneath the static. And in that fog, the influence hides. Silent, steady, unstoppable. This isn't science fiction anymore. It's what happens when humanity builds machines that sound just like us and then hands the machines a microphone. All of this, Reddit, the Zurich experiment, AI persuasion as a whole, and undetectable manipulation is right on the line between genuine crowd wisdom, which is an issue enough without AI, already based on how loudest doesn't necessarily mean wise at all. More people, even real people, also doesn't even automatically mean more wise either. And crowd delusion, and what appears to be a current and real wisdom famine, herd behavior, rage bait, and emperor's new clothes dynamics get supercharged by machines instead of just humans, all of which is legitimately bad enough and a real issue already with us actual humans. Without it, AI bots trained to be 3 to 6 times more persuasive than humans and able to mimic tone, biography, and relatability. Escalate this already real issue. A few controlling many so-called voices that are not even voices at all. That's how one slips from collective intelligence into collective delusion. Sound familiar to you? Sounds familiar to me. It's everywhere I look. Just me? Psychologists already know we follow the herd. Groupthink, conformity, pressure, social proof. Everyone thinks this, so it must be right. AI makes this worse because it can manufacture the herd. Bots upvoting, commenting, agreeing can create fake consensus that pressures real people to align because everybody's doing it. Everybody thinks it's right. Emperor's New Clothes, the artificial hive mind effect. Creating echo chambers at machine speed. Recommendation and response systems feed back what aligns with the so-called emerging consensus, shutting out any dissent at all. Everyone must agree, or you're downvoted or shamed or clearly wrong. Look at the bot numbers. I mean, a stampede driven by invisible, synthetic, fake participants. Unreal. How can this be? But just like in Phir Bhi Dil Hai Hindustani. Let's up the stakes. Let's up the drama. Let's up the temperature. Let's get louder, hotter, madder, enraged. Let's blow up this already big enough fire of situation we all now appear to be in here. Let's make a bad situation worse. Enter rage bait. The biggest character in this whole new film we are now in. We know it. We touched on it, and we will go into it more, as we always do, soon. But real quick, before we go all the way into rage bait, as we will, content engineered to make you mad. Anger drives comments, shares, and time on the platform. Algorithms reward any engagement, positive or negative, combined with LLMs means bots can mass produce outrage posts and replies tailored to your triggers. They can also sustain 24/7 outrage cycles. No fatigue. They're bots, keeping people in a permanent state of agitation. They can play both sides, stoking the fire, getting the anger, and then debating rage for maximum visibility. This erodes the liberation and pushes politics and culture into mob-like cycles. Quick anger, little reflection, lots of performative virtue or hatred. And what else? The emperor's new clothes. As we got into, is about everyone privately doubting but publicly conforming because they're afraid of looking stupid. Well, that's exactly what happens. You see a highly upvoted take. Some of those upvotes or comments may be from bots. You feel social pressure to align, even if you're uneasy or unsure. AI-generated arguments sound polished, confident, and widely supported. LLM bots in the Zurich experiment were designed to feel like credible, thoughtful humans. They anchored the discussion and made opposing views feel fringe or wrong, even though the so-called consensus was partly synthetic, made up, fake, to manipulate, control, and benefit. Ding, ding, ding. So we get a digital emperor's new clothes, right? People endorse positions because it seems like everyone else sees the clothes, so to speak. When in fact, much of that everyone is automated. Fear be Dilhi Hai Hindustani is about media spectacle, manufactured narratives, and how stories are manipulated to drive public emotion and ratings, while truth and dignity get trampled. And today, platforms and creators chase engagement, outrage, and slop win. AI lets you fabricate public reaction with bots, fake accounts, and synthetic comments. Real human pain, grief, injustice, love becomes raw material for engineered campaigns, political, commercial, ideological, just as the film shows news channels whipping up public sentiment for profit. LLMs, they drive persuasion, and they can script the crowd's lines and reactions in real time. It blurs who is truly speaking and who is being spoken through. Crowd-sourced wisdom turns even more fragile when the crowd includes hidden AI agents. Collective delusion and herd behavior get amplified by bots that can simulate consensus and repeat narratives at inhuman scale. Rage bait becomes cheaper and more targeted, locking people into cycles of anger and tribal identity. Emperor's new clothes moments multiply as people go along with AI inflated so-called majority views. Fear be Dilhe Hindustani gives us a warning. Media and systems prioritizing spectacle over truth and humanity it lands harder in a world where even the crowd itself can be scripted. But this new story of ours that we're in isn't over yet, right?